Hello, today I will be talking about movie review number 935, and this movie is Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a 1990 movie that is directed by Martin Scorsese, and this was one of the 10 collaborations between Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese as they collaborated together on 10 major feature films, including the recent one, Killers of the Flower Moon. Goodfellas is from Warner Bros. Pictures, and I saw this movie on March 3rd, 2024 at CMX Liberty Luxury 15 in Cinebistro in Liberty Township, Ohio. I thought this was a pretty good movie. So, Goodfellas. I've heard about this movie, but I never saw it before. And there were some other times where I could have gotten a chance to see it, but due to other movies, I didn't get a chance to see this. But now I finally got around to see this movie. And I thought it was a pretty good movie. So, this is the story of a young man named Henry Hill. Henry Hill grows up in the mob and works very hard to advance himself through the ranks. He enjoys his life of money and luxury, but is oblivious to the horror that he causes. With a drug addiction and a few mistakes, ultimately unravels his climb to the top. This is based on the book Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi. 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 So, Henry Hill. Henry Hill grows up in the mob, and he enjoys very much being in the mob and wants to advance himself through the ranks. And this is the story of his wife in the mafia, also covering his relationship with his wife Karen and his mob partners Jimmy Conway and Tommy DeVito. So in the film, Robert De Niro portrays James or Jimmy Conway, who sees an interest in Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta in the film, and he sees potential in Henry Hill, so he decides to take Henry Hill under his wing, and Henry Hill proves to be successful, and the mob decides to have him stay in the mafia. We also see Joe Pesci as Tommy DeVito, and those three actors are the main characters in the film: Jimmy Conway, Henry Hill, and Tommy DeVito. We also see other actors and actresses like Maureen Bracco as Karen Hill, who is Henry's wife, Paul Savino as Paulie Cicero, Frank Saviro as Frankie Carbone, Tony Darrow as Sonny Buns, Mike Starr as Frenchie, Frank Vincent as Billy Batts, Chuck Rowe as Morris Caswell, Frank Di Rio as Tootie Cicero, Henry Youngman is in it as himself, and many other actors and actresses in it. Like, there's a lot of people in this movie. And another thing about this movie is that it is about a 2.5 hour film, and it's probably considered one of the greatest movies that Martin Scorsese has ever directed, and probably one of the greatest movies that Robert De Niro has ever acted in. And I did not know this at first, but if you guys have seen an iCarly episode, I Open a Restaurant, let's just say that they have a little nod or tag relating to Goodfellas, which when I saw the movie Goodfellas, it was a restaurant scene. Some characters were at the bar, and I was like, oh, this reminds me of that iCarly episode. Basically, it's a scene where these characters are at a bar, and one of them comes up and starts making the other characters agitated. Um, and I won't go into much detail, but if you guys see the I Open a Restaurant scene where Gibby opens a restaurant and this guy comes in and makes a remark towards Gibby that makes him angry, it will remind you of Goodfellas. But there's some other things that happens in Goodfellas that ultimately leads to Henry Hill's life going upside down. So this movie is about the rise of Henry Hill being in the mafia, being a part of the mob, and the decline later on in the film when things start to go out of control. Will drug addiction and money schemes and other crimes take place? And let's just say that is Henry Hill is definitely getting noticed by law enforcement. But I won't detail too much. But I thought it was a pretty good movie. I definitely recommend it. Just know there is a lot, and I mean a lot of swearing in it. In fact, I heard this movie had one of the highest counts of swearing in a movie. Interesting. So it is an all-rated movie. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. So that's my movie review of Goodfellas. Please enjoy my next movie review. Alright, goodbye.